Coming up, tragedy in Connecticut.
We fly the new TBM turboprop and a tiny aircraft with a real punch.
And a shoot-off between video cameras you can use in your airplane. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haynes and Melissa Rudinger.
A horrible tragedy in Connecticut this week, a vintage aircraft down and lives lost.
Wednesday morning, a B-17 lined up on runway 6 at Bradley International Airport. 13 souls aboard, 3 crew, 10 passengers.
Number 93012, wind light and variable at 3, turn right, heading 095, runway 6 at runway 33, clear for takeoff.
Right to 095, clear for takeoff, 93.
909, a B-17 owned by the Collings Foundation was ready to go. The 75-year-old bomber is part of the Wings of Freedom tour, traveling the country offering flight experiences in one of their 3 World War II bombers. The B-17 took off from Bradley International, but never got much higher than about 800 feet, according to the flight-aware tracking system. Then a calm call to departure control.
Boeing 93012, we'd like to return to the field.
What's the reason for coming back?
We got number 4 engine, we'd like to return, blow it out.
012, roger, you can proceed onto the downwind for runway 6, and you said you needed an immediate landing?
When you get a chance, yeah.
On the landing approach, the aircraft hit some ILS posts, then veered sharply off the runway to the right and hit the de-icing facility. There was an intense fire, 7 people killed, 7 injured, including 1 on the ground. The Collings Foundation posted a statement on Facebook, sending thoughts and prayers to those in the flight and pledging cooperation with accident investigators. The NTSB arrived on the scene Wednesday afternoon. So it's a real tragedy. I mean, many of us know the folks associated with the Collings Foundation, and we're just now starting to hear some names. And the last thing, of course, we need is for this to result in someone coming out with a knee-jerk reaction and saying we need to ground these airplanes. Senator Blumenthal from Connecticut is already making noise to that effect, and we just, we need to find out what happened.
That's the big thing for me when we have an overreaction. Clearly it's a tragedy.
Yes.
Clearly we need to understand what happened, and if there's a remedy, we need to remedy it, but we don't know yet.
Right.
And so it's pretty appalling that somebody would use this tragedy to push an agenda.
Right, absolutely.
AOPA President Mark Baker was in front of another congressional committee late last week, this time over on the House side. Baker told the Transportation Committee about the benefits to general aviation in the 5-year FAA reauthorization legislation passed last year. Included in the bill is money to help train a new generation of pilots and mechanics, extending the time between aircraft re-registration to 7 years, and hangar rules that reflect the real world of aircraft building and maintenance. And Baker made another pitch to bring back the rebate for installing ADS-B out.
We still got a lot of GA aircraft out there that aren't equipped, and we got a deadline that's coming up very, very quickly. And are you concerned about that? Do you think that people are just waiting to see what happens with the price?
The ADS-B equipment out mandate, which starts January of this year, is very concerning. We have about 87,000 aircraft that probably will be equipped by that point in time, leaving about 70-some thousand aircraft that use that airspace. They're close to the cities or above 10,000 feet that won't be equipped as of January 1, most likely. The cost of the equipment has come down, but as we all know here, the average age of an aircraft today is 45 years old. You got a quartile that are less than $40,000 in total value. And this equipment was running between $2,000 and $6,000 to put on these airplanes. General aviation owners have spent over $1.5 billion so far to be participating in this mandate. The FAA had a $500 rebate program in place. It expired. It was very helpful for a lot of these owners that are doing this for the betterment of the system, for traffic. They don't have to do this. They want to do this. We encourage them to do it, but I would really encourage that $500 rebate be reenacted.
While the current ADS-B rebate is no more, you still have one tiny chance to get one, so mark your calendar. On October 9th at 1 p.m. Eastern, there's a chance to grab one of the few unclaimed rebates. Log in to the FAA's ADS-B webpage for more information.
And another new jet enters the market. Brazilian manufacturer Embraer announced this week that it has received both FAA and European certification for the midsize Praetor 500. The fly-by-wire midsize has a stand-up cabin and a 3,300 nautical mile range. Base cost, about $17 million.
And speaking of high-end turbine aircraft, there's a new single-engine turboprop that has several features traditionally only found at the top of the turbine market. AOPA pilot editor-at-large Tom Horn has the story about the TBM 940.
There's a new TBM in town, the TBM 940. It retains the same performance as its TBM 910 and 930 predecessors, but has two major new standard features on its instrument panel: auto throttle and an automatic ice protection system. I recently flew the 940 with Nicolas Chabert, Senior VP of Daher's Aircraft Business Unit. Engine start is almost automatic.
So to start this, you would put the fuel on auto and then hit the starter.
The auto throttle system allows you to set a desired airspeed. Instead of you moving the power lever, the auto throttle system does it for you. You can set the auto throttle system, it's made by Garmin by the way, manually, or call up pre-programmed speed profiles for climb, cruise, and descent. This is Florida, so thunderstorms popped up and we used the Garmin GWX70 weather radar to pick our way through several clusters of cells. The 940's automatic ice protection system uses a tail-mounted vibrating probe to sense the onset of ice accretion. When ice forms, the vibration frequency changes, triggering the system into action. You can use the auto throttle for landings as well. Here we are on approach to Pompano Beach, with the system holding speed until short final, when we disconnect it for landing, of course. TBMs don't have trailing link landing gear and can be a challenge to land sometimes. But this time I got a good one, and just in time. A thunderstorm was moving in. You usually see auto throttles only on big jets, but the 940 lays down a new marker for the turboprop market. Will we see the auto throttles on more turboprop singles? I think the answer is yes. Tom Horn, AOPA Live.
You can read all about the TBM 940 in the October Turbine edition of AOPA Pilot Magazine.
And another new aircraft just made the trip across the pond. The first two Tecnam P-2012 Travelers just landed in Massachusetts. They're first of a bunch of 100 ordered by commuter airline Cape Air. The 11-seat aircraft is the first new piston twin to come on the market in a very long time.
And speaking of traveling, how about some free stuff just for flying?
Pilots know that AOP has been working on a lot of projects to get you to fly more often to more places. We're now working with Jeppeson's ForeFlight on the exact same thing. If you file VFR or IFR flight plans using the ForeFlight EFB, you get entered automatically into drawings for all kinds of great prizes, and in the end it's in exchange for what you're already doing, flying. Pretty good stuff.
The grand prize includes an iPad Air and Century ADS-B receiver and a ForeFlight Performance Plus subscription. And remember, we also have the Pilot Passport Challenge. Check into an airport using our app and get another chance to win a prize, so go fly.
And take a young woman flying, or at least out to the airport. This Saturday is Girls in Aviation Day, and there are events planned all around the world. Women in Aviation International is spearheading the event, and airports and FBOs, museums, universities, and corporate members have all pitched in to spread the word about the wide variety of career choices for young women in aviation and aerospace. Go to WAI's website to find an event near you.
Always a great event.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful to see the girls out at the airport and understanding that there's opportunities there.
Absolutely.
Hey, when we come back, what's the best point of view camera for recording your flying adventures?
And a flying nail gun. What will they think of next? AOPA Live This Week continues in just a moment.
Purchasing your own aircraft is an exciting experience. AOPA Finance simplifies the process, saving you money with lower interest rates and hassle-free loans, so you get into your new aircraft sooner. AOPA Finance, the right approach to buying an aircraft.
Welcome back. Two stalwarts of the flight training industry received much-deserved recognition last week. John and Martha King were inducted into the National Aviation Hall of Fame. The Kings received the award for 40 years of aviation instruction. In those 40 years, they have reached over 500,000 pilots. The award presentation took place at the Wings Over the Rockies Air and Space Museum in Denver, Colorado. So congratulations to John and Martha.
Absolutely, congratulations. The site of the Hall of Fame induction this year was at the Wings Over the Rockies Air and Space Museum. You probably know that as a museum in metropolitan Denver, but the organization now has a new campus being developed at Centennial Airport. I got to visit a few weeks ago. The Boeing Blue Sky Aviation Gallery is the first phase of a campus being developed at the airport.
Well, officially, Wings Over the Rockies is one organization, two locations. So this is the second location. The other one is at Lowry Air Force Base since 1994. But this is meant to be the present and future.
The Blue Sky Gallery is meant to highlight aviation and provide an introduction to the world of opportunities that exist in the field.
They get to see, smell, touch, hear aviation every day. And what a better way to do it than just have that experience as we go along here.
It's a working hangar and leads out to the airport, but inside there's plenty of hands-on experience for visitors.
This is meant to be the experience. So we have everything from the physiology to the aerodynamic sections with the wind tunnel. You know, we got everything from drones to be flown and virtual reality. We have first-class simulators. We have a workshop right over here where we're building an RV-12. The students are building an RV-12.
The students are not always in the hangar. There's a charter school being built on the campus. Right now, they are in the portable buildings while the school is being constructed. And the day we visited, city officials were on hand to provide the occupancy permits for the portables so they could move in. So it was fascinating what they've got going on out there. It's just amazing, the facilities that they're building, and they're not done yet. In addition to the school that is just underway, they are also working on this Black Sky Gallery, which is basically sort of space. You know, the current Boeing facility is about aviation, and the Black Sky Gallery is going to be about space, and it's like kind of a Disney World-esque experience. I've seen some videos about how they're going to do it, and it's a walk-through kind of thing where you're going to feel like you're actually in space.
Oh, that sounds exciting, and if it's anything like the museum out there, it'll be world-class.
Yeah, they do a great job.
Can't wait to see it. Now to some news from the drone world, and I guess you could call this the world's smallest airline, literally. UPS has just received FAA Part 135 certification to operate a drone airline, and that's a first. The so-called airline is flying on the Wake Medical Campus in North Carolina, taking specimens from one building to another. The drones are also approved to operate beyond visual line of sight, another first. The Part 135 approval also permits the drone and cargo to exceed 55 pounds and fly at night. Those were previous restrictions governing earlier UPS flights.
And now to the USPS. The U.S. Postal Service, too, wants to get into the drone delivery business, and they have some other ideas for drones as well. Mr. Zip, and hey, if you get that reference, you're older than we are, is asking for proposals for drones to deliver mail and packages to difficult areas like down long driveways or remote homes. They're also looking at Uber-style apps so you can order a drone to come pick up a package from you. The Postal Service also is looking at these drones to collect geospatial and visual images to develop detailed maps for autonomous vehicles.
And the University of Michigan is out to show that drones can do useful work. This drone is armed with a nail gun and programmed to place roofing nails. A university researcher says the drones are ideal for dull, dirty, and dangerous work. Right now, the flying nail gun isn't as fast as a professional roofer, and it doesn't place the shingles, but they're working on it.
But there are some places where a drone shouldn't go. The FAA just issued a TFR and created a no-drone zone around the Albuquerque International Balloon Festival. The TFR prohibits drones within a 4 nautical mile radius of Balloon Fiesta Park, up to 2,700 feet AGL, $30,000 fine if you're caught. And moving now to a much bigger multi-rotor craft. More and more companies are playing with the idea of an Uber air taxi. Airbus has the Vahana and the City Airbus in development, and now they're rolling out the other part of the equation, the app. At the moment, Voom is the Uber for just helicopters and only in San Francisco, Mexico City, and Sao Paulo, but it works just like a ride-sharing app. Book a seat and fly point to point. You can see where this is going.
Well, drone versus balloon is obviously not good, but how about Cessna versus Piper? Garmin Pilot versus ForeFlight? Bose versus Lightspeed? There are always discussions among pilots about what the best products are for flying. AOPA Editor-at-Large Dave Hirschman compares the Garmin Virb Ultra to the GoPro Hero 7 to see which is the best for capturing your flying adventures.
Small, lightweight point-of-view cameras allow pilots to record and share highlights from our flights. But which of the many cameras in a crowded field is best for aviation? GoPro and Garmin are market leaders, and I recently flew with both of their top-of-the-line products. I used the same airplane, the same camera settings, and the same physical mounts for both flights. The Garmin Virb Ultra 30 and the GoPro Hero 7 are about the same size, and they're close to the same cost. But the difference in image quality and stability are obvious. The GoPro video is sharper, richer in color, and far less prone to vibration. It's not perfect, abrupt maneuvers tend to confuse it, but even when mounted in turbulent air below the tail and pointed straight at the setting sun, the GoPro Hero 7 produces remarkably stable, high-quality images. The Garmin Virb Ultra 30 is shaky by comparison. The Virb has a lot going for it, particularly its built-in GPS and free editing program. I also find the Virb to be easier to program and simpler to use. But if your only consideration is image quality, the GoPro Hero 7 is a clear winner. Dave Hirschman, AOPA Live.
So pros and cons to both. If you're someone like me and you need free editing software and have it be intuitive, that's what my go-to is, more than the actual picture quality. They're both good.
Yeah, and then the great thing is you got a choice, and they're both good choices. You know, like anything else, there's pros and cons to each.
Exactly.
And finally, it ain't easy being a chicken. Just ask Zeke Prigoki. Captain Peeps, as he calls himself, spent the weekend as a target for rubber chickens hurled out of airplanes. It was all part of Easton Airport Day in Maryland. It's a quirky story, and sorry we didn't get any video, but it's a great read on our websites.
Captain Peeps.
You got to do something on the weekends, right?
Exactly. Why not?
That's another one in the can. Let us know what you think about the show. Mash that like button or leave us a comment and send us an email.
And we hope you join us back here next Thursday for another edition of AOPA Live This Week.